And first on CNN, Liz Cheney giving up her bid for a Senate seat in Wyoming. The oldest daughter, former Vice President Dick Cheney, says that she made the decision because of, quote, serious health issues in her family. I want to bring in our own Wolf Blitzer from Washington to talk a little bit more about this and some other news. Wolf, first of all, Liz Cheney, I'm going to read part of what she said. She said, serious health issues have recently arisen in our family, and under the circumstances, I've decided to discontinue my campaign. My children and their futures were the motivation for our campaign, and their health and well-being will always be my overriding priority. Wolf, do we know what she's talking about when she says the health issues that she's referencing?
No, we don't. They're keeping that very, very private, very confidential. Obviously, according to that statement, at least the impression is something involving the kids. She has 5 children, but we don't know the details. We don't know what she's referring to. Clearly, it's obviously something very serious, and her decision to go ahead and drop out of this race. She didn't look like she was gaining much ground against Mike Enzi, the longtime Republican incumbent senator from Wyoming. The polls in Wyoming showed she had a really uphill struggle ahead of her, but she was in this race at least for a while, and now she's no longer in it.
Has there been any response or any reaction from her sister? I know there were public feuds that they had during this race, or her father, anyone who's weighing in on what is happening with her?
I haven't heard any response from her sister. We know that there was obviously a painful experience for the entire Cheney family when Liz Cheney came out and opposed same-sex marriage. Her sister is married to a woman, and this resulted in a public reaction, a very angry reaction from Mary Cheney, her sister, and Mary Cheney's wife, and the whole family was clearly upset about the way this was handled. Clearly, Liz Cheney thought that to get the Republican nomination in Wyoming, you had to be against same-sex marriage, and she came out against same-sex marriage. The former vice president, her dad, later said that she believed in traditional marriage between a man and a woman, but this was a really painful experience for the Cheney family and for so many of their friends to see this anger that developed between these two sisters.
And widening this out a bit beyond the family here, Wolf, were there people in the Republican circles who really felt like perhaps they quietly wanted her to go away, that this was something that was not looking good for the party?
Yeah, Mike Enzi is not well known outside of Wyoming, but he's a pretty popular senator among Republicans. He's very conservative. He's 69 years old. She's in her late 40s. One of the arguments she had been making is maybe he's too old. That wasn't a very popular argument, especially among his Republican senatorial colleagues. A lot of them are not only in their 60s, but they're in the 70s and even 80s. So it wasn't a very popular argument, and she angered a lot of longtime Republicans in the state of Wyoming by coming out and saying she was going to challenge Mike Enzi for that Republican senatorial nomination. Now she's out of the race. Clearly, barring some unforeseen circumstance, Mike Enzi will clearly get the Republican nomination. Wyoming being a very Republican state, he has a pretty good path of getting reelected, I think, for a 4th time.
All right. Wolf Blitzer, thank you, Wolf. Appreciate it.